Hello, welcome back. This is Grillenheimer. It's late at night. I apologize for whispering yet again. Now, I just wanted to go over a couple of these just because I've been testing them and playing them and finding out some of my errors. And I want to start out with these guys. And one thing I just realized is that all these deal with secret actions. I have not been playing a lot of secret actions. Normally you only have maybe 2, 3 secret actions in a deck, maybe. I don't know. So I guess I really need to build a deck around some heavy use of secret actions. Now, these guys total 22, so I could use. I've never even thought about using these guys as a team, but maybe I could. Some secret actions, the few of the ones with the star, and I'm not sure what that is right now. I know that there's at least 2. I don't have access to Wave 5. I'm not doing proxies. I'm only playing with what I've got. So, with that in mind, please take note of that. So, in the one issue I have is I'm going to have to fix Craven, and these guys don't have designations at all. Is that when you flip to alt mode, scrap your opponent's secret action and play. Well, there's a problem with that, and it took me playing to realize that. Okay, if your attack is 5 or more, flip back to alt mode. So he'd say, easily heavy orange deck, attack, flip. Well, the flip scraps your opponent's secret action. Well, if your opponent hasn't had the chance to go and there is no secret action in play, there's nothing to scrap. So now it's a different issue if I flip him at the front and it scraps the secret action my opponent just played. That's a different issue. So in one way that would work with a flipping ability. But as far as wanting to be able to take an attack of 5 or more just to flip to do something I can't do, I'm going to have to fix or do something different for his robot or bot ability here. So that's one thing to note. But now looking at these guys, with Shade being able to flip and tap an enemy character that is 6 or less, I haven't had the chance to do that. I've been playing with some pretty high numbers lately, I will admit. So, and again, now I have played around with Silverbolt, but again, I haven't been dealing with a lot of secret actions. But I've been able to draw cards just because he's not the one that's attacking. But with him having an 11-star count, he it's maybe being able to draw an extra card a turn or two, depending on what the other characters or character you're playing with, because he's such a high star. And we could, I know we have a few stratagem cards that are coming that allow you to add another star or 2 to your total, kind of quote unquote breaking the game. I saw this coming. If you saw any of my videos that I did last year, last fall, last summer, whenever it was, that I knew that they were going to be increasing the star count in some way. I originally thought they were just going to change the rules. Okay, change it from 25 to 30. No, that really hadn't happened. But they're doing it in different ways, simply other than just changing their own rule, which they've done throughout the year in various ways. So there's that. Okay, let's move on to Tempo, Slapjack, and Dieselhead. Now for one, these are the wrong things, and I'm glad I noticed. Even though the health difference is not that much of a difference, these are spy patrols. I did write specifically mini cassettes, and I did mention where I used Ravage or Ravage or Ratbat in a game or two, and I shouldn't have done that because these are spy patrols, not mini cassettes. Now mini cassettes, their health, well, it's not 10 or 11. They're more closer to like 7 to 9, 7 or 8, I think. So it's still a good bit of health, but then their star counts are only so far like 5 for mini cassettes. So, and he does seem to break the game in a way with that because their star counts do not add to your total. In just about every game he's been in, despite his very average, 4 is a little high for a 6-star, I guess. And I've never really gotten to do this. I've never gotten to Pierce 3 because he's never the last one in battle. And I have named him a styling deployer because you're able to use one whole mini cassette under him. We've been there, done that. Now Slapjack, I've been playing around with him, but the decks I've just been picking up to play have not had combat training in them. I need to try to pair him up with Wheeljack, then make sure I have combat training and brainstorm and some decent actions and some specialist cards and weapons and armor for them, and put somebody else with them. I just haven't had the chance to do that. Now if we go to Dieselhead, there we go. This has actually worked. It hasn't been happened very often, but trying to get him decked out before he's knocked out is not easy to do. I normally have put him with Inner Q, with a couple of star cards, with our Circuitous Quint. I have put these two guys together. It wasn't a great deck. I can't remember exactly what all I was using, but I finally was able to deck him out with 3 upgrades. Funny thing is when you have a character filled with your 3 upgrades, do you really want to get rid of them for the sake of hitting your enemy by 3? Maybe, maybe not. And by then it might be near the end of the game, and you might win the game doing it. You don't know. But I've been able to do that one time. I have been able to use this ability a time or two, and it normally empties my hand. And it does take brainstorm to do it. Well, not all the time. There's a few other cards that could be and I've been able to do this. This has actually happened once or twice, but you have to have the armor upgrade in your hand. You're not using the one that you flip during battle. It's not like that. And I've yet to see this happen. This was a big, tall order that I put on Inner Q here, about trying to flip three green and 3 black, and being able to swap an armor and a weapon between 2 different characters. And one of them could be him, because he does have such a high star count of 13. So, but yeah, 23 star count with 2 extra for star battle cards. These 2 guys put together, not a bad idea. I'm sorry. That's the hamster is going at it. It's like after 1 o'clock. I've got to go to bed. And these two little guys. Okay, he was from my second wave or third wave when I made Pith Core and Turret Strike and Twin Core and all that. If you remember those videos, they're still out there. Barcode I really like. He works well as an upgrade on anybody for Bold 2, Tough 2, and a Piercer 1. That always adds up. I haven't paired him up with Turret Strike in a while. But with plus 3 for added defense as an armor, that's not bad. Private Scratch, not quite as strong, but I like him too because you're able to get green cards that you flipped without having to swap for anything, and I'm really enjoying that. I have had armed hovercraft on him for Tough 2, but it's like, what's the point? You want him knocked out. He only has a health of 6. The few times that I've been able to play with him a little bit, when I want him to get knocked out, he hasn't gotten knocked out as quick. More on that some other time. But they've been both very fun to play with. Low star count, 5 each. Barcode maybe should have been 6 or 7 instead of 5. Now, moving on to Teaspoon and Expedibot. Expedibot has been a pretty well-rounded character that I've created. I really like him. Being able to, let's get in a little closer. Being able to, get your 5 attack on somebody, especially if I use a heavy orange deck, which I have, and I've been able to get maybe up to 2 cards underneath him before I've either he's been knocked out or whatever, or by the time I get to actually flip him, and use the bold. But there was one game where I actually, because when I put the top card of the deck under him, I don't know what it is. I take the top card and put it under him. And so there was one game I'm like, okay, it's a gamble, but I went from this mode to Alt 2 and used the card under him, and I forgot what card it was, but I can't remember if it actually helped me or not, and I don't think it did. But it was a gamble. It really is a gamble. But being able to use him and get the bold from the battle cards underneath him. No, I haven't changed that yet. I just know what it is. Has been really fun. And being able to swap him back and forth for the needed traits, range, melee. He's specialist in melee on the other side, I believe, in bot mode. Has been really, really fun. And because he is ship in this mode, I don't know, UFO wouldn't really benefit him much at all, really, either. It's not a flipping ability, except for this one here. And I think UFO reads, if I remember correctly, go from bot to ship to bot again. So it would bypass Alt 2 altogether. Let's move on to Teaspoon real quick. Teaspoon is an 8-star character, but I believe I've made him a little bit. He seems strong. He seems very strong. He really does. I've never had the chance to do this because, in no fault of my own, because I'm playing 2 teams by myself. but the other team has not had any utilities when I've happened to had a green card in my hand. That's supposed to be the little green card symbol, such as it is. And have been able to scrap enemy upgrades, which has been a big help. It's like being able to use vaporize when you attack. So you can knock out their armor as you attack them. You know, how good is that? Now let's go way back to these guys. Haven't seen the boats in a while, and let's get them where they're not shining y'all in the optics here. I played with these three earlier today. Haven't played them in a while. I forgot who I put them up against. And I actually played a deck tailored for Autobots, with Bumblebee and Optimus in mind. And I mainly picked it out because he's a leader, and he can and an Autobot, and able to use the Matrix. And so I did that. And I can't remember if I really ever got the Matrix in my hand or not, but they're just so fun to play with. Yes, okay, 12. And 7 is 19. And 6 is 25. Yeah. Okay, melee. Maybe I should pause and come back. Melee, specialist, and range in that mode, and melee in this mode. Okay, I knew somebody was different on the other side. My leg hairs are getting singed back there. These guys have been pretty interesting to be able to play. The only thing is that if you want to risk when it comes to these boat characters that I've created, who knows what Hasbro or Wizards of the Coast is ever going to do if it comes to any more boat characters or new or whatever. We don't know. See, let me flip him back so you'll know what I'm talking about. And then Buzzber is that for a lot of my... Okay, he was a first run. He was kind of a second run, if I remember correctly. And then I put, after you attack, untap another nautical character. Lighthouses, subs, and boats. Same with Galleon over here. Galleon Prime. Thing is in this mode, 5 is his small attack. Boats in their alt modes are always very low attack. For the pirate ship, it's 5, which is not bad. But he is a 12-star character, but the other two are like 1. So after you attack, you get to untap another character. Well, 1, they have to be in alt mode. 2, the one that's getting untapped has to be in alt mode. So it's kind of a trick that you need to, or I would need to attack, Buzzber in that mode, and then, hope he survives, and then in the next turn, maybe flip him back, attack with Stingray, and then after that, I can untap. Well, he doesn't have the verbiage. It would have to be the other way around. And then, after Buzzber attacks, then Stingray would be able to be untapped, or Galleon or whoever. Galleon Prime. So just neat gimmicks that I've kind of done that are not easy, but they're fun. It does give you an extra turn, so to speak. Let's look at Captain Galleon Prime, and then we'll call it a night. And of all the characters that I have created, this guy, his abilities and the way he works is probably one of the best ones, if not the best one in many ways. He's expensive at 12 stars, maybe not like Titan Master count nearly, but special warfare commander, leader, boat, nautical, melee in alt mode. But I made him an Autobot and a Decepticon, so he gets the use of a lot of cards right now. I did not make him a mercenary, but when I made him, I may have been unaware, I can't remember, that the bounties were only for mercenaries. So in a way, this might need to be a revenge ability, where the untapping another nautical boat or a nautical character would be like his Autobot side, and the revenge would be flipping to his other side. Being able to KO an enemy, which really is a bounty. That's not a revenge. Normally revenge only happens until you die, and then you're able to take an action after you get KO'd. So I'm not changing that, though. I'm not changing that. So it's like he has a mercenary ability without being a mercenary. And then when you flip, your opponent scraps cards from their deck equal to their total current defense base. Not their defense with their upgrades added, but just their defense here on their cards. And I did that today, and it was really messing up my other team, having to scrap cards, and every time he got flipped, and it was just really interesting. It was really fun. It put a different spin on things, and he just looked so darn good. Having him shrunk this small just was such a disservice to the artwork on this. But yeah, if I ever had the chance to, if I was ever asked what character would you want to be actually officially in the game, well, my first answer would be all of them. But if I only had one, I probably would choose Captain Galleon Prime. If they would ever do that, I doubt it. But it's such a neat. He's such a neat character, because he can be either faction, which we've never seen before. He has a mercenary ability, the untap ability, and being able to empty or move your opponent's cards in their deck into their scrap, which sometimes is good, sometimes is bad. But if you're going up against somebody with a very heavy blue deck, and you put Warpath and pair him up with Warpath, that could be a pretty interesting setup, with Warpath's ability to do damage. I think he does damage to one of your opponents for each double blue in their scrap. So if you're moving cards, your opponent's cards from their decks to their scrap, and then you flip Warpath on another turn and be able to use those double blues against your opponent, wow, that's a lot of accumulating non-attack damage going on there, which just really puts us an interesting spin on the game. But I've been playing around and trying to figure out the characters that I've created, and like I said, I'm going to have to make a few corrections, especially to Craven. So next time, maybe we'll go over a few others, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Have a blessed night. And as always, flip out and let's roll.